What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski and I am back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be going ahead and breaking down how to actually beat the GASPARDE pirates, otherwise known as the sailing competition Dead-End Fortnight. So this is once again another movie content fortnight, which is awesome. This does really hint towards the fact that we're going to be getting a lot more movie content in the future, and hopefully sooner rather than later, because some of that movie content is actually amazing, including a new raid boss, which we'll hopefully get soon. He's really good. But anyways, guys, this fortnight in particular is actually pretty interesting. Some of the units are really sort of interesting. The condition is something that we haven't seen before on Global One Piece Treasure Cruise, and also the skill books are pretty amazing. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into the video. So as we like to do, let's go ahead and break down the brand new units that you guys can get a hold of in this new Fortnite dungeon. Number 1 being the final boss on stage 7, GASPARDE of the GASPARDE Pirates. He is a 4-star unit that does evolve from the droppable 3-star version, and he is a strength, powerhouse, striker type character. And at max level, at level 99, he has 2,501 health, 1,002 attack, and 198 recovery, so some pretty average stats. He has 20 cost, and has 4 socket spots, which is actually really crazy. I had to check multiple different times, but yes, he does have 4 socket spots, which is absolutely crazy. I think it's the most of any Fortnite character that we've had thus far. It's absolutely crazy. It's kind of weird, because this character, when you really look at him, he isn't the best, but to have 4 socket spots is actually really crazy. So he can kind of be a filler unit in some teams just for the pure fact that he does have 4 socket spots. Now, let's go ahead and move on to his abilities. So his captain effect will boost the attack of characters that have a cost of 30 or less, so pretty much most characters from the rare recruit pool. They will have 2 times attack, and then boost the HP of powerhouse characters specifically by 1.2 times. So this is actually a pretty okay captain effect. You don't get much of a multiplier though, which is, you know, the little bit of a bad side. You know, only 2 times attack. But you know, if you use it with some specific teams, like you should just run a team with, you know, a cost of 20 or less, and then have a friend Sengoku if you really wanted to do that. Probably not really the best thing to do anyways. GASPARDE really isn't going to be used for his captain effect anyways, but his special, which starts at 26 turns and maxes at 18 turns, deals 20 times his attack in strength damage to a single enemy, and then boosts the attack of powerhouse characters by 1.5 for 1 turn. This is actually a pretty cool free-to-play special. I highly recommend it if all of you guys have Lucci, or, you know, just people that do not have the CP9 Bluno, or do not have the 3-day 2-year Sanji. If you guys do not have any of those 2 characters, this guy might be really good for you, because he's going to be one of the best free-to-play powerhouse boosters. So highly recommend that you guys go ahead and try and farm this guy if you have Lucci and not the other 2 characters that I mentioned. But if you already have 3-day 2-year Sanji or Bluno, then you don't really need to care about this, because those guys are just going to be a lot better in the long run. So the next guy is Needless, or Needles. There was multiple translations for this guy's name, so I just went with the first one that I saw being Needless. So this guy here is a 3-star unit and is a quick slasher driven character. And at max level, at level 70, he has 973 health, 802 attack, and a recovery of 223. So some pretty average stats. Again, he's a 3-star unit, so you can't really expect too much for his stats. He has a cost of 14 and has a single socket spot. Now his captain effect isn't really that great. A 1.5 times boost attack to slashes, not that great. But his special, which starts at 19 turns and maxes at 10 turns, deals 5 times his attack in quick damage to all enemies, and then randomize all orbs. So again, not a great special, not a great captain ability. He only has 1 socket spot. He doesn't have great stats. So overall, he's a pretty bad character to try and get in this Fortnite dungeon. Moving on, we have the final character of the Fortnite dungeon being Shiraya, the Pirate Executioner. So this is the hidden boss of this Fortnite dungeon. He is a 4-star unit that does evolve from the droppable 3-star version inside the dungeon, and he is a Dex Fighter driven character. And at max level, at level 70, he has 1474 health, 742 attack, and 188 recovery. So not that great of stats. He has a cost of 15, and he does have 2 socket spots as well. Now his captain effect is pretty cool, you know, boosting the attack of driven characters by 2.25. That is actually quite usable, especially because a lot of the driven captains are rare recruit heavy. So, you know, the only ones that I can really think of that are free to play that are really easy to get is going to be this guy, and also the Subody Archipelago's Eustace Kid that you can try and farm for. Both of those guys have the exact same captain effect of a 2.25 attack boost to driven characters. So if all of you guys do not have Caesar or Treble or 6-star Doflamingo or even Eustace this kid, you can go ahead and get a nice driven captain in Shariah in this Fortnite dungeon. Now, his special, which starts at 13 turns and will max at 6 turns, deals 9 times attack in dex damage to a single enemy and then change his own orb to dex. So if you are having to use this guy as a driven captain, he actually has a really low cooldown and gives himself a dex orb. So it's pretty much like the rare recruit Red Oostis kid. It's pretty similar to that. And his skill books will also drop in the Fortnite dungeon as well. So it's pretty easy to try and max out this guy's skill. Now that we've gone ahead and broken down the brand new units that you guys can actually get in this Fortnite dungeon, let's go ahead and actually break down the dungeon itself. So let's go ahead and start off with the condition for the Fortnite. This is the most interesting part and is very, very obscure, which means you have to really build a lot of weird teams. So this condition states that strength, dex, and quick units, so blue, red, and green, will get a 1.6 times attack boost and their HP will be reduced down to 10%. However, on the other hand, you have your yellow and purple, your Psi and Int characters will get 20% of their regular attack, but then double their HP. So it really means that you do have to have a balance between your strength, dex, and quick and your Psi and Int characters to make sure that you have enough HP, but also enough damage output in order to actually beat the dungeon itself. So it's a really, really obscure Fortnite condition that we've never had before. As I said, you know, you're going to have to build really, really weird teams in order to make this dungeon work. So actually moving on to stage 6. Now the first 5 stages, stages 1 to 5, are basic fodder units, you know, like previous dungeons would have. It's got turtles, pigs, and stuff like that as well, so you can get some boosters. Also evolvers like penguins and crabs and stuff like that. So you get all of those types of stuff in this dungeon for the first 5 stages. But on stage 6, you will encounter Needless. So this guy here has 430,000 HP and an attack power of 3,498 on a 1-turn cooldown. So he's going to be dealing a lot of damage to you in every single turn. Now, as soon as you enter the dungeon, he's just going to deal 3.5k to you straight away. So you definitely have to have a decent amount of HP in order to actually survive this dungeon. So, you know, you do have to bring at least a few Psi and Int characters in order to have that HP, you know, necessary in order to actually, you know, make it through the dungeon itself. Now, Needless, he actually has an effect where when he falls below 50% HP, he will boost his own attack by 1.5 times, up to 5,244 every single turn. So you definitely want to try and take this down as quickly as possible. Highly recommend bringing a delayer specifically for this one, unless if you do have, you know, a lot of powerful dex characters. But since the main boss is strength, you probably want to be bringing a lot of quick characters. So it's going to be tricky this sort of stage, especially because of that condition. So you do have to have the right team composition in order to make it through the dungeon. Now let's go ahead and encounter the hidden stage. So if you guys do encounter the hidden stage, you will come across Shariah, as I mentioned before. Now he's reasonably weak. He has 270,000 HP and an attack power of 6,880, and he'll attack you every 2 turns. So you do get 2 turns in order to try and take down 270,000 HP, which is pretty easy to do. However, he does have a preemptive attack that deals 3.7k damage to you and also makes it perfects become harder to hit for 10 turns. So if you encounter him, most likely when you reach the last stage, you'll still have that debuff where perfects will become very hard to hit. So you have to try and get around that, but you know, that sort of debuff really isn't that bad. It can be, you know, dealt with reasonably easily. You just have to take a little bit more care when you are, you know, trying to deal as much damage as possible through your combo chain. But as I mentioned, this guy only has 270,000 HP, and you do get 2 turns in order to take down that damage. So more than likely, you shouldn't really be taking any damage from it, aside from the preemptive attack, of course, but overall, a pretty simple hidden boss stage. Then when you make it all the way to stage 7, you will encounter Gaspard, who has 1.49 million health. That is crazy. 1.49 million HP and an attack power of 7,885 on a 2-turn cooldown. That is immense. He has so much health, so you definitely want to bring some quick characters because, as I mentioned with the Fortnite condition, they get a 1.6 times boost. So obviously you want to be bringing some quick characters in order to take down this guy because he has a lot of HP. Now, he does have a preemptive attack that will apply a delay and a defense protector for 98 turns. So that means you can't use any specials to delay him or use any specials to decrease his defense. So that is going to be annoying. And then he has an effect when he falls below 50% HP, he will boost his defense for 2 turns. So again, you want to be very, very careful about that. But then if you make him fall below 20%, he will deal 30,480 damage to you. So you're probably going to die right there if you make him fall below 20%, so you definitely want to try and burst down that last 50%. That would be what I would recommend to do. Get him down to about 50% and then try and burst him down with all of your specials or your boosting specials like type boost and orb boost and stuff like that. That would be the most ideal situation, but you know, you definitely do not want to get him under 20%, otherwise you will end up dying and losing your run against Gaspard. So now that we've gone ahead and broken down the stages of the dungeon, let's go ahead and have a look at the notable skill books that all of you guys can try and drop in this Fortnite dungeon. So number one, being the rare drop, is Strongworld Ace skill book. So if you guys have only recently got Strongworld Ace or were unable to max in the first time around, you get another opportunity to do so. So Strongworld Ace has an amazing special. He reduces HP of your crew by 40%. And then deals the amount subtracted times 15 as damage to all enemies, which is insane. And then will also lock orbs for a turn as well. So locking orbs is obviously one of the better specials in the game, keeping your orbs for the next turn, especially if you have matching orbs. And obviously, you know, you really want this skill max for a Strongworld Ace team. It is just so useful. Now, moving on from that, you have 3-Day 2-Year Zoro, the best slasher booster in the game thus far. I mean, period. He's just amazing. He gives himself a matching orb, or a strength orb rather, and then will also boost slashes by 1.75 times for a single, or for 2 turns. It's crazy. 1.75 boost is insane. You know, and it maxes at 18 turns as well, so I highly recommend, if you guys have 3-Day 2-Year Zoro, to go ahead and max this guy out, because he's going to be one of the best units for you guys to have in the future of One Piece Treasure Cruise. Now, moving on from that, it's just kind of other skill books just that follows. You know, you got 3-Day 2-Year Brook. His special's not the best, but still, if you got him, try and max him out anyways. Also, Whitey Bay, a conditional booster. Conditional boosters are also, you know, reasonably good, so I would highly recommend maxing out her as well. Also, Baskid or Shariah, one of the characters in the actual Fortnite itself, the hidden stage. As I mentioned before, he's kind of like Uster's Kid, with a weaker captain effect for driven characters. So, if you guys do not have a driven captain, I would highly recommend maxing his special out, because his special is pretty decent, gives himself a Dex Orb. Now, moving on from that, you just got like 4 filler ones. You got the Story Mode Piranha from Thriller Bark, you have Crockers, the Water 7 Frankie, and also you have Piranha's Ghost, also from Thriller Bark as well. Alright, so for all of you broskies out there that need a free-to-play team, let's go ahead and break one down. We have a double Eneru team. So, the way that this team works is you have your 4 quick characters. In the 2 Eneru captains, you have the Fortnite Kaku and the Story Mode Blue Lucci. That Story Mode Blue Lucci is so important. Well, he's not really needed. You can kind of replace him with a lot of other different characters, but I would highly recommend this Lucci, because this Lucci special is phenomenal. It changes recovery orbs to blue, and will also make any adjacent character get a blue orb as well. So it basically gives you 3 guaranteed blue orbs, and if you have any recovery orbs, those also get changed to blue. He is so good. And the Fortnite Kaku is a 1.5 times orb amplifier, which is just amazing. And then you have the Eneru, who will go ahead and double the attack of quick characters for 1 turn using his specials. So the way that this team works is you want to go ahead and use all of those specials against Gaspard in the final room and just take him down in a single turn. Now, also, the other 2 units, Mr. 3 and the Unknown unit. Mr. 3 is there for the Stage 6 Needless. That guy there does damage to you every single turn, so I would highly recommend bringing a Delayer, you know, just in case if you don't have enough HP. Definitely just bring him just in case. And then the final one really can be replaced with any sort of character that you really have. I would highly recommend a high HP stat Psy or high HP stat Int character, just so you get a lot of tankiness for your team. And obviously you've got the Eneru, who will just heal a lot back every single turn as the captain. So you're just going to be really tanky in the first place, but just having another unit that will just get you so much more HP is always going to be worth it. So if you have a high HP unit that has a really useful special, maybe you could go ahead and bring that character. But overall, with this team, you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever trying to take down the Gaspard Pirates. So that is going to conclude yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you guys have enjoyed it, make sure to smack the like button down below. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.